two areas on offense that we've been addressing all year have been our turnovers and our free throw shooting. And we've maintained all along if we can somehow get our turnovers in the neighborhood of 12 or fewer, if we can convert better at the free throw line, that would put us in a much better position to be competitive. And this afternoon, both of those things happened. We played with 10 turnovers, 3 in the second half, and we made 22 out of 24 free throws. Our adjusted field goal percentage was over 60%. I think it was 62.5%. And so I thought offensively we really executed. And maybe more than anything else, in short, our guys made plays. I can remember talking with you a few games ago after UCLA, and as you looked for an explanation, I replied that, we just didn't make plays that were there. But this afternoon we did that time and time again. I thought a real key for us was the start of the second half. After losing momentum and not executing at the end of the first half, our guys came out and delivered the first blow and had a 7-0 run. I thought that was in a really important stretch of the game for our team psychologically. And then they, kept stride the rest of the 20-minute period. Statistically, a couple things really stand out. Our team had 33 deflections. I think that's a season high. Jordan Baczynski contributed to that with 6 block shots. And back to the offensive end, Chris Colvin's 9 assists to 2 turnovers, was really instrumental as well. And I can continue to go on, but those are the few flash points that, stick in my mind.
Did you see anything this week that made you think something special was?
Nothing particular to this week. I think we've just had a very steady, even keel approach, and we haven't become disjointed when outcomes haven't been favorable, but we just have kind of kept our nose to the grindstone, and that's usually how you have a breakthrough. It usually doesn't happen because somebody, puts a chalk line down on a certain week. That wouldn't have been enough. It has to be, continuous. And I think guys are getting better, despite the fact that we always haven't enjoyed the kind of outcome we have today. You look at a young man like Jordan Baczynski. We've talked about it since like the middle of January. Our game at Utah seems to be a key turning point in his development. And you look at a guy like Jeff Pendergraph and Eric Boateng, how they came along through our program, you could really begin to see some great signs of hope for Jordan. He was, really good today on the offensive end of the floor and contributed with 6 block shots. You look at a guy like Chris Colvin and his development over the course of the year and his improvement. And, that's all you can ask for. The guys just keep working and get better.
What does it do for the team heading into the tournament and then next season from an emotional standpoint?
Yeah, our guys are obviously excited right now. They're thrilled with the victory. Looking forward to going up to the Pac-12 tournament. We play a team in Stanford, I was told just coming through here, that handled us pretty easily in Palo Alto. So we're going to, in a very short week, having played on Sunday, have to pull together and be ready to roll.
Herb, did you know what you would get from Carrick today, having missed all that time last week?
Yeah. That's the other, undercurrent of our season. We've had really key guys miss big chunks of our conference season. And, Carrick was really sick. He was literally in bed. And even this week, with our bye week, it was a very gradual, return. It's not like we finished the game against SC last Saturday and then he was back full go on Monday. He went through the week with a gradual return to action. And I just thought his energy today was contagious for our team. He played to his strengths today. And when he's playing an energy game, he's a good player. He really is kind of in his element when he's doing that. And then, Jordan really didn't do anything in practice until yesterday because he had a mild concussion on Monday. And so, the guys just kind of pulled together and dealt with those kind of things to, play well today.
Can you talk about Jonathan coming up on a big game like
Yeah.
this? He seemed to hit a lot of big shots.
He hit a lot of big shots, and you can't say enough about his courage and his poise, especially on that last three-pointer. When Chris came off the ball screen and he lifted for the throwback. He took that shot in rhythm like he was Larry Bird. He just has a lot of ice water in his veins for a first-year player.
What about Trent's performance? This is probably the best he's played since the injury.
I would agree with that, Chris. This was his best game since returning, and we talk about it, but then when it happens, we don't want to kind of admit it. It's hard to miss over 3 weeks in the crunch of conference and get to return where you were before you were hurt. So we acknowledge that on the front end, but then when a guy actually goes through it, you're like, Well, today he was kind of back to where he was before he got hurt. And I just thought there were a number of possessions where he just almost willed something good for us to happen. There was a couple possessions he made something really good out of almost nothing and just kind of, overpowered with his will.
The aggressiveness was incredible from the beginning because I noticed that a couple weeks ago you talked about free throw shooting. You guys got to the line a lot tonight and put them in the penalty early in the second half.
Yeah, which we always haven't, been able to do this year. But, we've been making a concerted effort to do things that would allow us to get there more frequently. And we were fortunate to be able to get there. It's sometimes easier if you can make them to score from there. That's why they call them free throws than it is against the defense.